Hi everyone! Happy World Book Day! I hope you are all celebrating accordingly. Today I thought that in honor of World Book Day we would do a little Q&A session. So I asked on my Instagram account if anyone had any questions about books or about writing or anything in general. And so here are the questions that I received, and I hope I answered them all right. So the first one was, when did you first start writing? And the truth is, I have been writing for fun my entire life. When I was a kid, I actually would come home from preschool and kindergarten and make these little books out of paper and staples. And now granted, none of these are actually original stories. They're all like little Disney fan fictions. Like this is Ariel. I was obsessed with Ariel. I also have Aladdin here, and Aladdin makes me laugh. My very favorite page is this one, and you can't tell because it's been stained over the years, but it says Boo Jafar. I was very eloquent as a child, so that's kind of, it's fun to look back on them and realize, wow, I really have loved doing this my entire life. Then as I got a little older, when I was in high school, I of course I was really into Harry Potter, just like every kid my age at the time. And as they were coming out, my family was actually going through a pretty rough time. My sister and I ended up spending our whole summers reading and rereading the Harry Potter books. And the summer that the 5th book came out, it was particularly rough. And that's when I discovered fan fiction. Because, I didn't have the 6th book to turn to. I still had to wait a couple years. So I got online, and that's how I found fanfiction.com. And I actually started writing fan fiction shortly thereafter. And I wrote up until my junior year of college when I realized that this is what I wanted to do as a career. So, yeah. Writing has just always been a part of my life, and I've always loved it. How do you stay focused on one story at a time? I guess the simple answer for that is I don't. I have 3 manuscripts that I'm working on right now, and all 3 are so different, and I need to pick and commit to just one. But one of them is a suspense novel that I've been working on over a year. And it's really challenging, and it's really requires a lot of thinking. And so I keep turning to the ones that are like fun romantic comedies because they're so much easier to write, and my brain needs a little bit of joy and happiness with all that's going on in the world right now. I need to focus on just one though. So I can't give you any advice on how to stay focused on one story at a time because I'm not very good at it. How do you write about places you've never seen? Google! Lots of research. I used to go to the library for a lot of information on places that I'd never been. Haven't been to the library in a while now because, shelter in place where, everyone's got to do their part. But there's actually, I don't know, I guess it's still a feature, the Google Maps feature where you can drop your little person down and you can actually drive through the streets of whatever area you're in. So when I was writing the second Cemetery Tours book, it's set in Maine. I've never been to Maine, but I had my little person drive through the streets that I needed to drive through in order to write the book. And so it's amazing. The whole world is at your feet, and I love it. So I do a lot of research. What scene was the most fun to write? Oh my gosh, everything's fun to write. In Cemetery Tours, I loved it. I love any scene with a ghost. I love ghosts. I love ghost stories. My sister and I, since this whole pandemic started, have been binging Paranormal Caught on Camera, and it's just so fun. I love haunted. I love creepy. On the flip side, I also love romance and comedy. So anything that's either funny or involves kissing, I'm going to love writing. One of my favorite scenes to write, though, was in Once Upon a Midnight Clear, and I haven't gotten to this part in the read-alongs yet, But my main character, Princess Rosalind, actually meets, I guess, her love interest outside of the royal world, and he doesn't know who she is. So the big reveal when he finds out that, oh my goodness, this girl that I met is actually a princess. I loved writing that. That was so fun, probably because I have always wanted to be a princess myself. So that was just so much fun to write. And trashy romance novel, the whole dang book was fun to write. This is the one where I threw out all of my inhibitions, all of my insecurities, and I just went for it and wrote the book that I wanted to read. It's a love letter to Scotland, but it was also something new and a chance, and I loved taking it. I love this whole book. It makes me so happy. The next question is, will Josh from Boy Band ever get a girlfriend? And I know exactly who asked this question because she's asked me before and she's told me this is what I think should happen. This is the girlfriend he should get. And I love you for it. I love your ideas. And I guess all I can say is we'll see. I am definitely not done with these characters. I love them. I have a lot more ideas for them in my head. I'm actually even wearing my boy band shirt right now. Isn't that cool? This is Josh and Corey and Oliver and Jesse and Sam. And it's so neat to be, and I have to just shout out, thanks to Jalitza Delgado for designing these shirts. It's so cool to have your own merch. I love it. You can actually buy these on Redbubble if you want. I'll post the link in the comment section below. So will Josh ever get a girlfriend? We'll see. Do you have another job? That's a good question. I have worked several odd jobs, I guess, on the side along with this one. When I first started out, I was working as an office assistant in a dental office. I have worked retail. Now this was in college. I worked as a lifeguard and a camp counselor at a summer camp, which I just found out that summer camp that I love so much is closed this year due to COVID-19, and it makes me so sad. That place is so near and dear to my heart. But I know it's for the best. I completely understand and respect that, and I agree it is for the best, unfortunately. I worked for a while as a writer for a travel company. And right now I do a bunch of graphic design and cover design for other authors. I've also done some formatting, but that's not my favorite. It's very time consuming for myself. But if you pay me, sure, I'll do it. So yeah, that's what I do. I work a lot of odd jobs on the side. At the moment, my main job is running errands and going to the grocery store for my senior citizen parents who they're not, I'm telling them they're not allowed to go outside. You're not allowed to go to the store. You're not allowed to go get gas in your car. Not that you need it because you're not going anywhere. But no. So that's my main job right now is running errands for the family. Do you love cute dogs? Of course I love cute dogs. I love cute animals in general. I especially love cats. But any animal basically besides a cockroach, I love. Cockroaches are a big no. I'm trying to teach my cat to hunt them. Okay, here's an interesting question. I love second person narrative, which is where the narrator talks to you, the reader. You. Is that something you can use for more than just short stories? Sure. You can write in whatever narrative you want. You can write in whatever perspective you want. My personal favorites are, I love third person for kind of more serious books and stories. And for my rom-coms, I love first person present tense. Now, I will tell you, I recently read a book that is very, very, very popular right now. And my friend, one of my best friends, she texted me going, "You've got to read this. You're going to love it. It's so you." And so I I read it. Well, I wanted to read it anyway before she texted me that, but I decided to read it. And it was written in third person present tense. And for some reason, my brain just said no. I could not. It took me out of the story every time. I did not enjoy it at all. The story was great. I felt so bad because I should have loved this book, but I could not get past that third person present tense. It was like nails on a chalkboard in my brain. So, it all depends on the writer. It all depends on the reader. What works for 100 million billion people, because everyone else loves this book, may not work for just one person. But, you know, it's up to you. As the writer, it is your story, and you know how best to tell it. And that's the best advice I can give. Why is dialogue so hard to write? That's a good question. I don't know, because everyone talks different. There is not one person, or there is not one right way to write dialogue. Everyone speaks differently. Everyone speaks with different tones. And, you know, when you're reading, the writer may write dialogue one way, and then with different inflections, with different intentions, and the reader will read it a completely different way. Even in my read-alongs that I've been doing recently, I'll be reading some of the dialogue, and then I'll go back and think, that's not how I wrote it. And somehow that's how I read it. And, so yeah, dialogue is very challenging. It's something that I actually enjoy. I enjoy writing dialogue a lot more than writing descriptions, because that's actually, descriptions are my weakness. When my beta readers go through my manuscripts, they'll go, need to see more, need to see more. You need to tell me where you are. I need details. Because I'm sitting there and I'll write out a 10-page, you know, dialogue between these two characters, and they'll be like, my readers will be, I don't know where they are. I don't know who's speaking right now. I don't know what's going on around them. You need to give me less dialogue and more scenery. So that's actually my challenge. But, you know, every writer has their own strengths and weaknesses. And thankfully, if you have a good team surrounding you of beta readers and editors, then they can help you work through them. How do you find your own voice, yet not let everything sound the same? I guess the best way to answer this is when I write the way that in my mind, I write in sort of a conversational way, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I am not Shakespeare, clearly. I'm not Jane Austen. I'm not a very, I guess, eloquent person. I write very straightforward and conversational. I try to keep both my narrative voice as well as my dialogue voice for my characters as realistic as possible. I want my characters to be real and relatable. I don't need a lofty, grand, I don't know how to even say it. I try to keep them modest, I guess, and again, relatable. I want my characters and my narrators, I want my books to be relatable. And that's the I guess the best way to answer that question. I hope I'm doing okay with this question. I've never done a question and answer session before. I've only been doing this YouTube thing since April 1st. This is not my natural element by any means, but since I'm not going to cons and book signings at the moment, this is the best way I could come up with to connect with readers. So I hope you're enjoying this. I'll get back to reading more in the days to follow, but for World Book Day, I just thought I'd do something different. Okay, let's see. How do you find an editor? Do you always need one? Okay, so when I wrote my very first book, was I still in grad school? No, when I finished my first book, I wasn't still in grad school. I graduated. But I still didn't have any money. So I actually went to one of my best friends who is the smartest person I know. And I also went to, believe it or not, my high school choir director from church, because she's like a second mom to me. She is so incredibly smart and well read, and I trust her and love her so much. So they actually served as my very first editors, and they did a wonderful job. I love them both so much. And now you can find editors through Facebook. There are Facebook groups. There are, so they actually still help me out quite a bit. But no, you can find editors through writers groups. You can find editors through, like I was saying, Facebook. There are plenty of Facebook groups that you can go through and find editors. One of the editors from our writers group, she has helped out quite a bit. So, a lot of it, some of it is who you know, and some of it is, there's always someone you can find. That's the great thing about living in the digital age, is you can connect with people anywhere around the world. And there's always someone looking to help. How do you know when your book is ready and worthy of being published? I guess. Wow. That's a good question, because the truth is, your book is never going to be perfect. You're going to go back and you're always going to find something that you may want to change or room for improvement. I even went through recently, and this is an older version of Cemetery Tours. This might even be, this is my proof copy. I don't have one of the newly edited, but Cemetery Tours has been out almost 7 years now, and I recently went back and revamped it and did some re-editing, and I made actually quite a few changes. Not actual, like, narrative changes, but I changed a few conversations in the sequels because I realized, well, this isn't working for me. Or I found 2 continuity errors in After Death. I had, like, 3 editors, beta readers, people have read that all over the place, and no one pointed the continuity errors out to me until I went back and re-edited. So, the truth is, you're always, I think, as a writer, going to go back and think, oh, I should have done that differently. And one of the benefits to independent publishing is you can actually go back and change them. But yeah, you've just gotta, you've gotta, if you're waiting for your book to be perfect, it's never gonna get out in the world. And, the world needs your book. So put it out there. Once you I don't recommend throwing it out there and thinking, oh, well, if it's not perfect, I can just change it later. Try to get it as good as you can, but if you find errors later on, if you're independently published, then you can definitely go back and make it better. But I think as far as knowing when it's worthy of being published, you're always going to have doubts. You're always going to think, what if, oh, I can make this better, oh, I can make this better. You've just got to take a chance. I guess that's a hard question. It's hard because, again, every writer has their insecurities. And I hope I'm not giving you all bad advice. I'm just saying that, when I first published Cemetery Tours, I was 25, I think. I was 25. I was very, very eager to get my first book out in the world. I was a lot more, I guess, confident. I'm still very confident in my works, but I was very much, oh yeah, my book's great. Get it out there. I'm ready. It's perfect. Get it out. Let's do it. And now as I've gotten older, I realize, okay, I was a little ambitious ahead of myself, but I don't regret putting it out there. I love it. It's changed my life, but it's hard to know. It's really, really hard, but you'll know. And the last question that I received was, do you like motivational ideas? Yes. I love motivation. I love ideas. I get motivation and ideas from multiple places. Pinterest, certain songs will inspire. Right now, I'm working on, one of the books I'm working on right now is actually the sequel to Once Upon a Midnight Clear, and I actually finally, I've been working on design. I've had the title in my head for forever. I've known this title for ever since I published this one, probably, but I finally have a cover that I love. It took me like 7-8 different tries to get the cover right, maybe even more than that. I don't think there is one book that I have written, and see, I design my own covers as an independent author. I design my own covers, and now this is a stock photo. Actually, this is a free stock photo that I found on Pixabay. The artist, I gave him credit in the book, Bruno Glatch. I'm not sure how you pronounce the last name, but so some of my, I really just lost where I was going with this. Oh yeah, I finally have a cover that I love for the sequel, and I'll be sharing it pretty soon probably. But it looks great. I'm so excited. And that actually gave me motivation itself, just having a cover that I love. But yeah, no, I don't think I have one book that I have written and published where I got the cover right the first time. It's always a challenge. Like Cemetery Tours, this is the second. It was published for a while with a different cover. I have the first cover right up there in my bookshelf, but I really don't want to stand up because I'm afraid I'm going to knock over my my computer. But oh well, you can look it up. So I love motivation ideas. I love designing covers. That gives me ideas. So you can get motivation from, oh, I remember where I was going with this. I remember the question I was going to answer. So in writing the second royal romance book, I have been binge watching over and over and over again the Christmas Prince movies on Netflix. And that gives me motivation. That gives me ideas. I love those movies. Oh, they make me happy. They're ridiculous and hilarious, but I love them. Oh, and I think did I miss a question? Yes, there was one more question. It was, how does self-publishing work? There's a lot of ways. There's so many ways that it can work. But the way I do it is I go through a website called Kindle Direct Publishing. It's actually a branch of Amazon. I do all my own formatting. I design all of my covers myself. And if you do it that way, you don't actually have to. There are services that Amazon and as well as other companies provide, like formatting, cover design, all of that kind of stuff. But, you know, when I was first starting out, like I said, I didn't have any money, so I learned to do all of it myself. And I think that's usually what most of us do. There is software out there that can help you. I think one is called Vellum. A lot of my friends use it. I don't. I'm very technologically challenged, so I still go through just Word to format everything. I use Photoshop to design my covers. There are also a lot of different websites you can go through if you want to independently publish. One of them is called Lightning Source. Another is called, there's another one, I think Lulu, maybe? Is it Lulu? I honestly can't remember. But I guess for self-publishing, what works for one author doesn't always work for another. And I guess the most I can recommend is just to, once again, do your research, reach out to other authors, other writers. I am always happy to help you if you have any questions or if you need some resources. I can try to point you in the direction that works for me. But like I said, what works for one author will not necessarily work for another. And that goes for writing, that goes for dialogue and storytelling, and that goes for publishing too. I really, really, really appreciate independent publishing because I get to keep all the rights to my work and I get all of the royalties. When you go with a small press or even with a traditional publisher, they definitely have their advantages, but you don't necessarily hold on to your rights and you split your royalties with someone. Now, again, depending on your book, depending on the circumstances, depending on the publisher, there may be more royalties to go around than if you're independently published like me. So I am my own marketing team. I when you're an independent publisher, that's what you do. You do everything. And so there are pros and cons to every path you want to take. But independent publishing really works for me. I'm a very stubborn person, and I don't actually, so here's a confession, I don't actually work very well with others. I would much rather work and do everything by myself than have to rely on someone else. But again, that is just me. When it's your book, when it's your story, you want to do what's best for you and for your characters and for your book, because it's like your baby. I mean, I love all of my books, and I hope I do what is best for them. And I feel like when they're your books, no one can really love them like you do, and so you make the right choices for them and for yourself. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope this has been informative. I hope I haven't rambled or been confusing, or yeah, I probably need to go to the grocery store now because my dad needs some fruit and some cereal. But I love y'all. I will return soon with more read-alongs, and in the meantime, I hope you're having a wonderful day. And again, happy World Book Day!